Right, hey guys, how are we doing? Back with another video from Mother's Basement, and I am finally checking out The Cult That Made Anime. Number 2, I can't wait to see how this continues. That first one was just absolutely insane, and this is a long video. So get some drinks, get some popcorn, get some snacks. We are in this, guys. Let's check this out. I can't wait to see how these crazy stories continue. I loved all the facts he had about the actual cult as well in the last one. What?
If you didn't catch these videos, you might be feeling slightly confused.
Oh my god, what?
Possibly even disoriented. I want to reassure you that as little sense as that probably made to you, it made exactly as much sense to anyone who's already been briefed on stockbroker turned reborn super space Buddha Ryuho Okawa, aka El Cantare, and his kooky anime-producing crossover fanfic religion,
yes,
which is currently selling a book that literally claims Star Wars is real.
Oh.
In case you were wondering how kooky.
Okay.
Warn you now, if the 7-digit timestamp on this thing didn't warn you already, the first 3 Happy Science movies did nothing to prepare me for the howling vortex of madness that is the next.
Oh my god, cool. So it gets even crazier.
Over the next hour and change, you're going to watch this cult move from aggressively tonguing the balls of Thomas Edison to warning you about the dangers of dodgy religions, unlike theirs, obviously. To, essentially calling for Japan to go to war with China. So, yeah, there's a lot of minutes and a lot of words in this video, and all of them are fully necessary to fully unpack all of that.
Oh
I have
my
written
god.
each section of this roast to work as a standalone piece that's comprehensible, even if you haven't seen part 1, and I've left marked chapters in the doobly-doo for your convenience if you want to watch them that way. But one of the most fascinating things about these movies is the ways they build on and evolve from each other. So I'd urge you to watch
all of them.
all the way through at least once. I would also ask you, since this video has to tackle even more demonetizable subject matter and imagery than the last one of these films is like 30% swastika. If you feel so inclined, please, in addition to the usual like, comment, subscribe deal, consider sharing this video with folks you think will get a kick out of it.
Yeah.
And to everyone who already shared around part 1, it is only because of you that I had the confidence to follow up on it this quickly.
Cool.
As the biggest video that we've ever made, this is also the most expensive Mother's Basement video.
Cool.
I've got like 4 different editors.
Ooh, cool.
And I'm not running a sponsor because the founder of this cult is literally suing his own son right now, and I don't want to put anyone else in
gosh, imagine.
I'm taking a big risk on this series, is what I'm saying. But with your support,
He said well about the first part as well, and then that's still up, so fingers crossed, touch wood, real good.
From the bottom of my Kokoro, thank you. Alright, enough with the sappy stuff. Let's tear this cult a new one.
Alright.
The first 3 Happy Science anime all
The Laws of the Sun.
angles and focal lengths, the history of humanity, which started on Venus as recorded in their goofy
Hermes
gospel.
Wings of
With
Love,
their 3rd
right.
film, The
The
Golden
Golden
Laws,
Laws.
a tween time travel flick that strings together tweaked tales of famous religious figures like
Yeah.
Disney Worlds and Kingdom Hearts, they finally realized that most people avoid explicit edutainment, actually, and started moving toward more conventional and marketable plot and character-driven storytelling.
Okay.
This has only freed them to make their anime even goofier and substantially less hinged. The Laws of Eternity is another transitional fossil in this evolutionary process.
There we go.
It has twice as many principal characters, and some of them even follow the barest traces of an arc, but its basic plot is identical to that of the Golden Laws.
Right.
Some kids take a novel, spirit-based invention on a
They accidentally go through time, and
only instead of happy history, we're learning happy cosmology this time, and instead of a time machine, we're using Thomas Edison's spirit phone. History's most overrated inventor did try to build a ghost communicator in his later days, though he never called it a phone, per se. His real hypothesis was that a sensitive enough pressure gauge could detect trace human personality in the atmosphere and read that out somehow.
Right.
But this movie couldn't even put the Edison Museum in the right state, and the laws of the sun just blind-hucked a dart at the bathroom door next to the board to peg the Incan Empire as 7,000 years old. So, by happy science standards, this is actually pretty good research.
Right.
And that's not even the film's only fun Edison fact.
No? What else did they tell us?
The first song he recorded was Mary Had a Little Lamb.
Did he?
Sing it together.
Wait, did I say fun? I meant horrifying.
That's very disturbing.
I'm lying. I heard that behind me in a spooky video game. I would pee.
Yeah.
It's enough to spook
That's
the
creepy.
film's heroes, a trio of Japanese tourists from Kainan High School Science Club, into leaving for lunch early. Unfortunately, even on the new iPhone hologram, Apple Maps is
What
still
is
Apple
that?
Maps, and Roberto ends up leading Patrick and Ryuta down a shady New York alley instead, where they're swiftly ambushed by a racist caricature.
Ah.
Though not one we typically see in that biome. The old shaman lady says she has a message for the kids from Edison in the spirit world.
What?
So they follow her back to her hut, somewhere in New Mexico, apparently, where she channels his spirit using the traditional Native American ceremony of holding a feather and vibrating.
Ah.
I am Edison.
Oh my god.
I have a message for you.
Yeah.
There is a new invention.
My god. What is it?
Must. Spirit world.
She's just making it up.
That is some hilarious fake seance dialogue any way you slice it,
Yeah.
but it's extra funny when you know that Ryuho Okawa talks pretty much exactly like that in his spirit interview.
Oh.
My fellow citizen.
But Barack Obama's not even dead.
Come on!
The old lady falls over and Ryuta runs to help her, but then their fingers touch instead, E.T. style, and the blueprints for the spirit phone come flooding into his
my
mind all at once.
god.
Also, she fucking dies and no one cares.
Huh.
Are you okay, Ruda?
Okay.
Yeah, not the lady or anything, like, it was just flying flat on the floor, okay.
Collapsing. But that's not the only line where the tone is a bit off.
I just don't want to give up before I even give it a try.
Well, that's what I like about you. You're different from other smart guys. You really make me want to do something for you.
Okay.
Perhaps sensing those impending
You're not just a
implications,
goody-goody.
the film's chaste religious love interest, Yuko, chooses this moment to knock on the lab window. And recalling that the old lady mentioned they'd need someone else's help to build the spirit phone, Roberto reasons that because Yuko goes to a religious school and thus knows about the spirit world, she's got to be the one.
Yeah, surely,
As further
right? She
evidence
got
of
the
this,
knowledge.
She coincidentally
She got-
read about the spirit
What?
phone on Wikipedia last night. Also, she bumped into Patrick on the way over here, who's being all tsundere about helping with the ghost film.
I'm not too sure we should be doing
But
this.
ultimately, he decides to help too, just to prove that ghosts don't exist. Baka. One montage and about a brain-dead
You
techno battle
idiot.
later, and the phone is done, and actually looks pretty decent for a CGI model from
Well, that's all right.
2006. It doesn't appear to work at first, but Yuko realizes that's just because these silly science boys forgot the most essential step of the boot-up process.
Praying?
Prayer!
Ah,
Must
of
not
course.
Windows me. And with El Cantare's blessing, they finally get a signal. But my pants wish they had.
That's
Thomas
weird.
Edison greets our hero by his full name, Ryuta Hoshikawa. I see what you did there, movie.
Oh.
Then begins ominously explaining that he contacted them over some trouble before the connection even more ominously cuts out halfway through a sentence. Patrick and Roberto freak out while Ryuta...
My
and
god,
Yuko
they
try
talked to a
break them again.
ghost.
And while they can't get a hold of Edison, a spirit named God Eagle, the highest shaman of the
What?
ancient Incan civilization that Ryuho Okawa made up, does answer and offers to be their guide to the other side.
Of course.
Yuko conveniently learned how to astral project at religious school too, so after about
Yeah,
10 seconds of
that's handy.
meditation, everyone's
What?
out of their bodies
What?
and up in the clouds, where they find a mysterious stone gateway that leads to an ever-shifting city full of business ghosts who don't seem to realize they're dead yet.
Oh
That's
my
pretty
god.
metal,
That's
actually.
What?
Patrick starts freaking out again about the whole freaky situation, which is understandable. But then he calls Roberto
Very much
Chubface, which is just uncalled for. And the damnation mechanics of the happy science afterlife, if you're in a bad mood ever, you go straight to hell.
Oh my god, what?
Seriously, that's how it works.
What?
Don't allow for the he started it defense, so after a couple seconds of bickering, a sinkhole opens up to swallow up the both of them. Luckily,
yeah.
God Eagle swoops in.
You're not allowed to be in a bad mood.
Tell us where we are.
Where are we? In the fourth dimensional posthumous realm where people who have just died come and experience the surprise that they are spiritual beings.
So it's
What?
ghost orientation, basically.
Yeah, like learning that you're dead.
Ghost reception, so God Eagle takes them back there to formally start their tour.
Right.
On the bank of the River Styx, they learn that all souls have these ghost umbilical cords sticking out of their
What?
heads that fall off
That was
24
weird.
hours after death. Also, across the river lies a hill of golden flowers, atop which sits a massive movie theater multiplex where every deceased soul in existence is forced to sit and watch a movie of their entire life, including all of their private thoughts as
Oh
commentary,
my
in
god,
front
why?
of their entire dead family.
Why?
No, we ain't made it to hell yet. This is still only check-in. After the movie, your family votes on whether or not you go to hell, and if you're really lucky and earn some AmeriClubs,
What?
you might even get an express pass to the upper tiers of heaven. Or you could just think some happy thoughts.
Your family votes on...
So, is this heaven?
This is the fifth dimension, realm of the good. It is a part of heaven.
Right.
Happy Science
Of
Heaven
course.
is actually divided into several realms, each of which houses
Like Soul Society.
For instance, the sole prerequisite to make it to these lush green fields full of bizarrely oversized vegetables is apparently to say thank you a lot all the time for literally everything to literally everyone.
Right.
Beyond that lies the
Oh, very Canadian.
realm of light, where advanced souls who've become leaders in their respective fields come to study forever, inspired by the divine light of the eternal Buddha. Appropriately, its door only opens to those with powerful dreams. No horny dreams, though. Bad Roberto.
That's
After
naughty.
that clarification, all the kids do make it through, and Roberto and Patrick even get to see visions of their future scientific achievements, respectively a spirit energy-based generator and a device that detects impending illnesses at the soul level before they can start hitting your body.
Wow,
And the next dimension
that's
I've
really
seen,
cool.
our exclusive club. The seventh dimension, Bodhisattva realm, lies beyond the narrow gate, which only those with the prerequisites of an angel can pass through. Obviously, Patrick's way too much of a dick for that, and Roberto's too...
Roberto.
Look, we've seen enough of these movies at this point to make an educated guess as to why Roberto's not getting into the VIP section of heaven. But God Eagle still makes them all go through the same test anyway, helping 10 old and sick people through rehab in a hospital-esque pocket dimension.
Right.
One monotonous montage later, Ryuta and Yuko both, of course, get the go-ahead, but Patrick gets left behind because he complained about being tired once in his head. And Roberto had a thought about how he deserves some gratitude for helping those
How
people,
dare you be
instead
so
of pride,
selfish?
he had to. And after telling them this, God Eagle just abandons the pair of them.
Oh, well,
I'm
figure it
sure
out for
that's not gonna
yourselves.
cause problems later. On the other side, Ryuta stumbles into a spirit lab full of spirit scientists and business guys working on spirit stuff,
Of
one
course.
of whom compliments him on his spirit phone. After a moment, he realizes that guy is Konosuke Matsushita, the founder of Panasonic, who introduces him to Sakichi Toyota and a bunch of other, quote, people who contributed to building Japan's prosperity.
Huh.
Apparently, in Happy Science, Bodhisattva means billionaire. Suddenly all the Edison worship is starting to make a bit more sense.
Right, okay,
Speak
yeah.
of the angel and he shall appear.
You never thought angels wore business suits and working clothes, did you?
Oh, no.
Finally, we meet Ryuta Hoshikawa.
Mr.
Edison, my god.
Just a side note, Edison was a brunette. It's not clear why they made him blonde and
Huh.
blue-eyed here.
Oh,
Again, though, we can make an educated guess.
Yes,
It's
we-
probably the same reason they did it to Helen Keller and Speak of the angel, it's finally time for her to appear before Yuko and explain exactly what her deal is.
Yeah.
Are you uncomfortable seeing a talkative Helen who can see and hear Yuko?
Oh my god.
No. That was all planned before I was born. Angels sometimes do things like that. Yuko, you and I have always been friends, you know.
What?
Friends?
Turns out she's not the only angel friend Yuko forgot about.
Honorable Miss Nightingale.
Florence Nightingale.
Back at the gate, Patrick's starting to get behind by all.
Okay.
And, of course, the impressionable young Roberto gets sucked into that, too.
We went through all that trouble, and now we can't even meet
No.
Edison.
Negative thoughts.
Then they both
Negative
get
thoughts.
sucked into
You're gonna go to hell.
hell, where a mysterious mustachioed gentleman
No.
appears and offers to
What?
help them find their way out. Though subtle clues suggest that
It's-
it might be a trap.
It looks just like
Edison informs
Avengers
Yuko that
when
he's
is it
actually
Black
from
Widow and
the
Hawkeye
eighth
meet
dimension, from the Gata realm, but he
the Red
comes
Skull?
down to slum it with the Bodhisattvas sometimes when he's feeling bored. After explaining the principles of reincarnation, he reveals it wasn't him who was in trouble at all, but rather science itself.
My God.
Scientists focusing on the material world and ignoring the new frontier of the spirit world.
How dare
He
they?
wants Ryuta to fix that. Suddenly, corporate whistle music kicks up, and the scene turns into a weird TED talk about how spirit technology can help mankind reach the stars and harness limitless energy.
Yeah, it can.
Like, they're really trying to sell this technology
That doesn't exist.
that they made up
Yeah. What?
in their cartoon movie.
That's-
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's really
What?
weird. At the same time, Florence Nightingale's going off on her own tangent about how if everyone only knew about reincarnation, we'd have world peace because everyone would realize that they already know everyone else and they don't want to kill people they already know. Then she
Yeah,
tells some
okay,
of
yeah, I
these
can
people
kind
to
of see
go
where
down
they're
and
trying to
help
go
people,
with that,
and Mother
maybe?
Teresa arrives to elaborate that some angels even go down to hell to try to save souls down there.
Mr. Edison, you are the god of science. The greatest scientist of all humankind.
No, that's not true. The greatest scientist on Earth would actually be none other than Thoth.
Thought?
Who's fault?
Around 12,000
Oh,
years
God,
ago,
here we go.
Atlantis.
Edison lists off all of mankind
I love how he just cuts it, just like that.
in the last video, and explains that they can all be found in the holiest of spiritual planes, the ninth dimension, cosmic realm.
Oh.
However, he tells Ryuta he can't go there because it'd be the spiritual equivalent of diving straight for the sun.
Right.
He does,
Of
however,
course.
get to take a
Be careful with
spirit
that.
elevator up to the eighth dimension.
So he goes nearly there.
Actually the greatest
Nearly
invention
there.
in the spirit world. And it's made by yours truly.
Okay, guess it
Nice.
wasn't pride that kept Roberto out of here. Must have been something else. Ryuta heads up in the elevator and pops out to grab Yuko right when her angel friends are telling her that actually she reincarnated with the man she's destined to marry. Ooh, so
Nice.
together they ascend to the higher realm. where
They
they're
travel
greeted
in
by
the glass
a man,
elevator
and
from
that
Charlie and
man
the Chocolate Factory.
is Albert Einstein, who explains that all 500-ish of the beings in this realm have achieved enlightenment and transcended their mortal forms. Thus, there's actually infinity people up there.
Oh
but
my
also
gosh.
zero. He then demonstrates using a goldfish that time is an illusion here too, so I guess that giant hourglass is just ornamental.
Yeah.
Furthermore, he announces
Yeah, why is it-
he wants to reincarnate
that's-
in the 30th century and build the time machine, meaning he's also Arissa's dad. This conversation raises a lot of questions,
Huh.
but there's no time to answer them because the film just realized it's been 50 minutes since it had a plot. God comes in to announce that Patrick and Roberto have been captured by demons, and Yuko and Ryuta have to take the elevator down to save them.
Of course.
On the way, they
This is
pass
making
through the Hell of Strife,
so
an
much
eternally burning
sense.
city surrounded by volcanoes that's home to combative and cruel souls. Next is the Hell of the Inescapable Pit, an office complex where demons force people to work really long shifts at really cramped desks as a punishment for those who envied happy and successful people and tried to bring them down.
My
In
gosh.
other words, Ryuho Okawa built a special hell just for the haters. After that is the Hell of the Bloody Pond, wherein those obsessed with the opposite sex get trapped in a massive, endless blood orgy until they realize how nasty they are. Sounds nice.
What?
The elevator then passes a base camp for all the angels Mother Teresa mentioned who delve into hell to save people, before finally arriving in a barren, rocky valley deep in the realm of demons, where their friends are tied up in the gnarled branches of a massive, evil-looking tree.
No.
And, of course, right as they arrive, they're greeted by the sinister mustache man, who's revealed to be the
Who is he?
god-murdering philosopher himself, Friedrich
Nietzsche.
And he's brought a whole army
My
of zombie
God.
Nazis with
Oh
him.
no.
But he needs no violence to fulfill his master plan, which was to lure Ryuta here and turn him into an atheist.
Many of your peers on Earth have awakened already.
Freedom of religion also means the freedom of not believing in religion.
Oh my
I
gosh.
promise you, I did not add that music.
Yeah.
Nietzsche argues that a life without God gives people more personal freedom, to which Ryuta retorts, yeah, well, if you're so smart, how come you're in hell? The mighty lens of facts and logic is so bright that it instantly wakes Patrick.
That's dead funny. Yeah. If you're so clever and right, why are you here then? You idiot.
Dr. Eggman. But our heroes aren't out of the woods just yet. Because wherever you find zombie Nazis,
This
it's
is so
only a matter
dumb.
of time until you run into zombie.
Hitler!
No.
Nietzsche, I told you! It's easier to use force!
Force, in this case, refers to the giant CGI elephant monster
That
Hitler brought
looks
with him,
terrible.
Behemoth, which engages in a big dumb anime fight with God Eagle, knocking a mountain onto the spirit elevator in the process.
No. How will they get out?
Eagle sacrifices himself to stop the beast, but even that only slows it down, prompting Nietzsche to chant his catchphrase.
God is dead! God is dead! God is
What?
dead!
But Ryuta ain't having it.
No.
The truth will not die.
No, it will not.
The truth never dies.
What is the truth?
At this point, he basically goes Super Saiyan.
Nice.
The glow of his hair is so bright that it
Ultra
reaches all the way
instinct.
to heaven, calling down a giant angelic mecha to poke battle Behemoth on his behalf.
No
Which seems to
way.
turn the tide, but then
What?
Hitler busts out a Z move, and his heck Pokemon starts belching fire.
This is so ridiculous.
Once again, though, Nietzsche's struck too soon.
This is so ridiculous.
Yuko summons a golden shield for the god Gundam.
Of course she
which in
does,
turn
'cause she
inspires
can do
Ryuta
spiritual
to summon
stuff.
a
It makes
golden
sense.
sword to protect her, and the light of them both is enough to blow away Behemoth and vaporize both Hisler and
Hisler.
Nietzsche's. With the immediate threat vanquished, the kids hop on the mech to fly out of hell, but they're pursued by a host of demons who begin spilling
No.
out after them.
How very
in the third
Berserk-esque.
dimension. Good thing, then, that there's a host of angels waiting on the other side,
course there are.
led by God Eagle, who's pulled an arrow.
Yay, he's
and
alive.
draws a cross in the air, followed by a star, to plug the hellhole up with a whole entire mountain.
Whoa.
The film's not quite over yet, though.
Okay.
The spirit elevator shows up one last time, but this time it's an express ride to El Contore's
The ninth dimension.
Cosmic Realm penthouse.
Whoa.
Patrick and Roberto, humbled by their hell trip and reasonably sure they'd evaporate in the God Sun, both decline the offer, but Ryuta and Yuko head on up, and a schmaltzy musical number plays as they take a victory lap.
Oh
through
my
the realms
God,
of
they're going to the
heaven,
ninth dimension.
soaring
That's sick.
over
That's so cool.
unicorns and mermaids
Whoa.
and into a painting of Ryuho Okawa giving Adam and Eve a bowling trophy?
What?
Is that Da Vinci painting? They then pass Helen Keller and the Angels,
Okay.
and dance for Aphrodite. The Gundam flies up to see them off.
Nice.
And finally, they swing by Thomas Edison, who's putting finishing touches on some sort of angel energy drink. Also,
Nice.
apparently,
Angel
his
X.
true mission all along was to get those two on the elevator. The reason for that becomes clear once they reach the ninth dimension, where they come face to face with the holiest beings in existence.
Jesus Christ. Confucius.
Yeah.
Of course, above them all, we find all the incarnations of El Cantare, casting their holy radiance down on the globe of Earth. Then the Buddha himself delivers the film's big twist.
Awaken.
Thought of today. My God!
Which I guessed, like, the second I heard Ryuta's name. Suddenly, he's standing on a beach in ancient Atlantis, admiring an Atlantean airship.
Of course he is. Why wouldn't he be?
Wife, who's also Yuko. Now, the dialogue in this flashback is frustratingly inconsistent as to whether they actually are Thoth and his wife or just people who lived in Atlantis and happen to know them. But even if Ryuta's name is just a coincidence, it won't be long before Ryuho Okawa actually goes full self-insert on us. After his vision, Ryuta vows to go back down to Earth and prove the truth that he just learned in the spirit.
Because the truth never dies!
Then everyone wakes back up in their bodies. He has a vision of growing up to win the Nobel Prize and marry Yuko. And finally, they go on a long walk out to a field in the middle of nowhere so they can stand there and watch the credits roll. I hope I've demonstrated, if through nothing else than the sheer girth of the roast you just heard, that the laws of eternity is substantially sillier than any of the already kooky cult movies.
Yes, so I can imagine...
The movies that come after
oh, here we go.
on the other hand,
That's what I was going to say.
only get weirder.
No.
So, the thing about the Rebirth of Buddha... okay, it's a couple things, actually. First off, the main plot of this movie... Holy shit, the cojones on this cult.
Right, go on.
Right, so,
Go on.
in this movie, there's a new religion whose leader claims to be the reincarnated Buddha, who even has psychic powers, which he demonstrates on television.
Right.
Obviously, that guy's a fraud.
Of course.
TV said that he was the reincarnation of Buddha.
There's no way that guy can be the Buddha. Because I know the real Buddha is...
Spoilers, it's Ryuho Okawa. I mean, they call his OC Sora no Taiyo, literally the sun in the sky, but
it's
they both wear the same gaudy suits, both do the same stupid cross-star exorcism thing, both emotionally manipulate young female celebrities. It's a one-to-one analog, basically.
Jesus.
And pretty much the only reason the film gives us to believe that this guy in a fancy suit with psychic powers who claims to be the Buddha is legit, whereas this guy in a fancy suit with psychic powers who claims to be the Buddha is a big fat phony is source dude, trust me. That and the second dude dresses and acts like a B-grade supervillain. Secondly, B-plot of this movie is, I don't know how to put this without upsetting people.
Right, go on.
What if Mieruko-chan joined a cult? One day, out of the blue, intrepid high school reporter Sayako suddenly discovers that she can read her classmates' minds and see ghosts.
Oh my God.
These ghosts are all mangled and dark and spooky and shit. Acknowledging their presence puts her in danger, and when they're not menacing her, they go around possessing other people and causing problems for them.
Okay.
Now, obviously, there are some differences in the lore here. Mieruko-chan's mangled ghosts are products of all different kinds of grisly fates and evil intentions. If you're curious as to what sort of grisly fate, Yazi analyzes some of their designs in her hilarious new video comparing the Mieruko manga to the anime. Whereas in Rebirth of Buddha, the purpose of all the ghosts everywhere is to literally demonize suicide victims. Content warning if you're sensitive about that stuff, because this movie really isn't.
Suicides can't go to either heaven or hell until they spend their expected time of life in this world. So during that time, they possess family members or cause other people to die at the side of their suicide. It's gonna get pretty ugly from now on.
What?
Okay, one, I think we can all agree that kid going from 0 to ape shit with the baseball bat is pretty funny. Two, though, what the fuck, man?
Yeah, that's
Why does
crazy.
The one afterlife punishment Jeffrey Epstein's not getting gotta be so harsh? To be fair, Rebirth of Buddha does mark the first point in this series where I can honestly call a happy science movie a movie. It's got real characters and almost
the animation seems pretty good.
Setting and a story that's more than an excuse to preach and lore dump. Slightly more, as you just heard. That is still a lot of the movie's runtime, but like The first bit is just about establishing the characters and the protagonist's big problem.
Yeah, like what
When
they're
the
able to do in
evil
that.
spirits show up, there's no exposition telling you why they're scary, at least not at first. The movie just does its best to make them scary.
Whoa.
Some are at least as scary as any of the ghosts in the actual Mieruko anime, though that's more an indictment of Passion's adaptation than it is a point in Rebirth of Buddha's favor.
Right.
Still, admittedly, the film is competently executed, at least comparatively speaking. But at the end of the day, that only makes the kooky cult crap stand out all the more. For example, that ghost who pulled Sayako onto the train tracks is decently spooky. Spookier still because it's someone she knew, a reporter she once looked up to named Kanemoto, offed himself after a misreported scandal ruined his reputation. But before the scares can even settle in, she's inexplicably teleported to an afterlife courtroom where a trio of judges lecture Kanemoto about how suicide's disrespectful to God and tut-tut about all these foolish materialists stinking up an arrow where the Buddha's been reincarnated. That's foreshadowing, by the way. Then they spring the trapdoor to hell on him, which is, again, pretty metal. Immediately following
that looked kind of cool.
Convo she has with the great value bleaching.
He just looks like Ichigo.
Train tracks reminds us just how relative a term competently executed can be.
But what made you want to kill yourself?
I would never think of killing myself. I'm sorry.
After that, Homie whips out some
Why are you apologizing?
to explain
What?
happy science cosmology to her. Then they start arguing out of nowhere. He says, "Why are you always like this?" And it's revealed after 3 minutes of these people being on screen talking to each other and us presuming they're strangers, that he's actually Sayako's college-age ex-boyfriend who just happened to be walking by as she fell onto the train tracks in the middle of her I can see ghosts freak out. We don't even find out his name is Yuki until she's back at home reminiscing about her breakup, which, spoiler alert, was caused by him neglecting her for happy science meetings. One of the morals of this story is that if your boyfriend's cult is causing friction in your relationship, you should also join that cult.
Right, yeah, of course. Of course. Like, that's gonna be alright then, isn't it? Don't get in the way of him being in this cult. Jeez, woman, sort yourself out.
Is flipping through channels because nothing else interesting's on.
People are witnessing UFOs across the country lately.
What?
And today, chaos erupted as police received
What?
calls from people who
There's
claim
been a
to
lot of
see
strange
UFO
news lately.
You are not wrong.
Talk show that's interviewing Rai,
Jesus.
fake Buddha who leads the Sonin group, where he makes
People are seeing UFO. Jesus,
about the
these
state of the
films.
world that are a touch extreme.
Society today is ailing. Families are torn apart.
Yes,
Children
crocodile.
kill their parents. Parents kill their children.
The unhingedness of that statement is immediately overshadowed, though, when an earthquake hits and Arai uses telekinesis to save a newscaster from a falling light.
Oh.
The next day,
He actually has
all
powers.
anyone can talk about.
Hey, did you watch TV last night? Isn't Arai amazing? I heard he can do anything with his psychic powers.
Well, it's still a religion. I mean, Rebirth of Buddha? Come on.
Let's see. Buddha. Wow. So many.
Sayako leaps at the chance to interview him when her clubmates lazily pass the buck on it,
Oh, of
figuring
course.
he might be able to tell her what's up with all these ding-dang ghosts she's seeing lately. This worries her ex, but she's not taking his text, so he has to run over to the Sonin Group temple to rescue her. And it's a good thing he does, because as Arai's promises of psychic power in exchange for total obedience start winning the crowd over, the room starts filling up with this stinky black ghost smoke.
Oh,
When
no.
Ichiro rushes in, some Kaiba Corp goons pop out of the woodwork to stop them from leaving. He warns them that there are TSI members waiting outside. For some reason, they don't call it happy science in this.
We got a duel.
Then he uses a fire extinguisher as a smoke screen to escape. They run to a nearby park where Yuki almost name drops the real Buddha. Then, as they're bickering again, Sayako's little brother Shunta, who's been tagging along the whole time, trying to snap a pic of them kissing because
Why would...
don't think about why.
Yeah,
Gets
what?
got by an evil spirit from the Sonin
No!
group that gives him a coconut-sized case of the ghost mumps.
Oh, gosh.
Their dad, who is a doctor, vows to save Shunta's life, but as a filthy, stupid atheist, He is, of course, both helpless and hapless in the face of this supernatural
You've
alien.
gotta believe,
Sayako actually has
otherwise you
another
won't be
interview
able
that same
to
day, which
relieve.
obviously gets canceled with her favorite pop idol, Mari Kimura.
Oh,
She's a little
I'm enjoying
bummed
this. I'm
about
enjoying this
that.
video.
Little does she know, Yuki actually knows Mari on account of how they're in a cult together.
Of
They show up
course.
to surprise her in the hospital lobby the next day with a random Australian
If you ain't part of the cult,
in tow
you
and tell her all
gonna
about
find
how
things
Yuho
difficult.
OC Do Not Steal Kawa can cure her brother. Then the man himself comes to the hospital and does just that by T-posing dominantly over the boy until the spook gets spooked out of his body and into the Australian guy. After an obligatory sermon on how sinners must repent and stuff if they want to leave hell,
Yeah.
also a lame jump scare, Master Tayo exorcises the beast, and just as an encore, he drops a plot twist on the family.
You've got cancer, haven't you?
What? Is that true?
He's got it exactly right. I've got 6 months left at best. There's absolutely nothing I can do about it.
This plot point never comes up again. The
What?
demon
Why
mentions
even?
before exploding
What?
about his evil master plan, which is already in motion, and to cut back to Arai's swaggy evil headquarters gives us a saucer-esque hint at what that might be. Sometime later, Sayako and Yuki are celebrating Shunta's recovery by taking him to a local festival for some stock anime shenanigans when she has some sort of psychic headache, and all of a sudden, an alien armada
The
descends
UFOs
from
that
the
people were
sky
seeing
and
in the
begins
news.
obliterating
What the?
Tokyo
What?
with death rays. Pretty sick looking death rays.
That does look good. What is going on?
Magic CGI lotus blossoms that Sayako summons with Sorano's help to make the aliens disappear, though. That was pretty lame.
What?
And don't
The
even
fu-
get me started on Arai's psychic defenses.
Someone's interfering.
The next day, of course, the UFO attack is all over the news. In a panel discussion with the walking macro-aggression from Laws of Eternity, a representative of the Sonnen Group claims responsibility for stopping them.
Objection.
This contradicts the existing evidence of some messages on the internet and, quote, a fax from a woman in her 40s claiming that it was a mysterious girl who stopped the aliens, not a guy in a suit. Someone even got a picture.
God.
Blurring its face does absolutely nothing for Sayako.
Oh my god, you're the mysterious savior girl.
Oh
In
my
no time, a
god.
media circus has descended upon her house, and she has to wear a disguise just to go and do normal things like
Oh,
meet her
no.
boyfriend and attend cult meetings. By the way, there's like a 6-minute scene smack dab in the middle of the movie where everyone literally just sits down to listen to Ryuho Okawa babble about smiling more.
Right.
Riveting
Yeah, because you got to be happy. You got to be positive. No negative thoughts. Oh, you're going out.
Sayako up in a car to get her away from the reporters.
You gotta smile.
to a
Be happy.
TV
Do it now.
station Where Mari is doing a talk
said
show
do it
so
now.
she can tell her story on her own terms, and they finally make up too. Meanwhile, the Sonnen Group charges into the NHK and violently takes over their broadcast before mirroring the signal to every other TV station in Japan. With all of the nation watching, Arai hypnotizes them into believing that a tsunami is about to hit, and tells them that if they swear to obey him, he can stop it. Full ghostly chaos is kicking up as our heroes arrive at the station, and Mari warns them not to look at any TV.
This is such a weird, confusing story.
To do something about the broadcast, but a bunch of IT thugs from the Sonnen Group ambush them in the hallway.
Of course.
Luckily, Mari and Yuki both know Kung Fu, and that shaman lady throws a mean psi blast, so they make it to the studio.
Right,
in one piece,
okay.
Ready to read a message of truth from Sorano Tayo. Unfortunately, the message got smudged along the way. by
No,
the
we'll never know what it says.
Luckily, astral projections work as teleprompters in a pinch. Through Sayako's lips, Sorano tells Japan that it's being duped by evil ghosts. Also, of course, he takes the opportunity to deliver another lengthy sermon. And despite Arai's
You must
best
smile more.
his apocalyptic illusion is once again...
That is South Park clips,
With
isn't it? That's South Park
several
audio,
failed
isn't it?
plans under his belt and the cops hot on his tail now, the demonic entity that's been manipulating Arai decides to cut its losses and possess him outright to get it done right, it itself.
If you want to
Back
do
in
it right,
school,
do
the
it
media
yourself.
has only gotten
Using
circus
someone
work,
else's
so
bite.
Sayako's hiding out with the newspaper and broadcast clubs who are very clearly just trying to use her for a scoop.
You should use this opportunity to tell the truth, Sayoko. Even if it's just inside this school.
Fake-ass bitch can't even get her name right. Eventually, Sayako sneaks out the back, only to get got by a spooky evil dead.
No.
A short while later, Sora no Taio and his sidekicks have finally figured out the demon's true dastardly scheme.
No.
Even if Arai's plan fails,
Nobody will trust religions because of what he did. This is not cool.
But just then,
Ah.
Arai appears out of nowhere at a baseball game, kidnapped Sayako in tow, and his presence is announced by the world's greatest TV sportscaster.
Why, that's Tosaku Arai. Arai, who went missing after taking over a broadcasting station, has appeared with a mysterious girl, who's also been reported missing.
Sayako!
As a full-blown
My God.
supervillain now, Arai threatens to blow up all 50,000 people in that stadium if Sayako doesn't announce to the world that he's the real Buddha. She can't bring herself to do it, though. The
Oh
truth
no,
is
but so
just
many,
that
like,
important. So
the
demon tries
repercussions.
to brainwash her into doing it anyway with an objectively correct argument.
Are you going to kill all of these people? Are you saying that your faith is more precious than the lives of the 50,000 people here?
Oh my God.
She does have to think about that one for a second.
Oh, wow.
Long enough to flash back to the entire movie, but her ultimate answer to that question is a rather concerning yes. She tells everyone that Sora no Taio is the one true Buddha, and in response, instead of doing the bomb thing, Arai uses some M. Bison juju to throw her off the pedestal and steal her soul.
Oh.
Then he claims that she was possessed by a demon and makes an absolute Hail Mary of a bluff, which almost works somehow.
This is so bizarre.
Today, everything you've seen here is proof that I am the Buddha.
Is it? Is it?
The people
Is
of the
that girl
stadium
okay?
falling into darkness
The
once
random
more.
background
But just in the
audio.
nick of time, Taio Sorano descends in a shaft of light to do what he does best.
Yes.
Bore evil into submission with
I was gonna say, give a sermon.
vaguely spiritual aphorisms about happiness.
And he has a sword now.
This is a characteristic of a foolish person. If you think only of your own happiness, it will lead to your spiritual death. Do not use your life only for your own interest.
Ah.
wow, he's absolutely right.
Taio Serrano.
It makes sense.
Yes.
Also, he
It
uses a golden
does.
sword to turn Arai's tentacle UFO into bats, and the demon that was possessing the false Buddha reveals itself at last to be some dude with long hair. Sora knows
Whoa.
ways to protect the audience from the demon's
It was him the whole time.
So, Buddha's immune to darkness-based attacks.
Of course
so
he is.
The demon pulls out Sayako's stolen soul to use as a hostage, forcing Sorano to take his full
No.
power head on.
Oh no.
He's still Buddha and still immune to darkness-based attacks, so
It's like, he didn't pay any attention to the first time.
An entire After Effects package.
What the frick?
Still nothing. Sorano
It
then
does look bad,
counters by
that.
summoning a big white elephant from the sky, which he then
Oh.
rides for some reason and does the same cross-star cut move to send the demon packing.
Yeah,
For all,
take that.
Arai awakens and is worried that Sorano will kill him for, trying to kill him.
Yeah.
But the real Buddha assures him that he can redeem himself through self-reflection, causing him to cry
Oh.
and convert on the spot.
It's okay, just smile and be happy and then you're gonna heaven.
Even
No
though
negative
this
thoughts.
monk goes down in hell, I guess. It is worth noting that fat, long-haired demon guy looks more than a little like the founder of another anime-producing Buddhist cult from the 90s, Shinrikyo,
Oh.
which tried to have Ryuho Okawa assassinated with VX gas a year before their infamous subway terror attack. So he might actually have been working through some stuff with this.
Maybe, yeah.
Unfortunately,
I'm getting a
Sayako's
while
soul
there.
seems to have been blasted
Jesus.
away with the demon.
I should have been the one to fill your dark soul with light.
Oh my
But the
god.
power of Bleachy-Go's Super Saiyan love is enough to reach her all the way in the spirit world, where their ghosts make out a bit, and then she comes back. A bunch of angels come flying in
What?
out of an IMVU band
Why do they look like
to
that?
celebrate this great victory. story, and everyone in the audience transforms into one of their previous incarnations as a happy science.
That is so weird.
Listen to one last excruciating sermon about Tayo's plans to build a theocratic autocracy, or possibly a theme park.
That I shall be reborn in this age, and devote my life to build a Buddha land with you.
Buddha
Then
land.
the movie ends
Right.
with characters saying their goodbyes and going on with their lives in epilogue slides accompanied by a credits theme that puts most Christian rock I've heard to shame with its shamelessness.
Okay. Oh my gosh. There is only one Buddha. He's the only one. No one else is
Don't worry
him.
though, these movies can still
It's
get
only
a
him.
lot less subtle. Remember Red Dawn? The mystical laws is basically Red Dawn if it was even less plausible and even more politically optimistic. Also, instead of Russia invading America, it's China invading Japan.
Oh my God.
Though it still manages to follow the invasion up with an actual, literal, "Thanks, Obama." But that's not what I was talking about when I slammed its lack of subtlety. See, in the mystical laws, it's not just China invading Japan.
Right.
It's Nazi China.
Ah.
So the story goes, in the near future of 2020X, after it had already become the most powerful nation on Earth, a military coup led by General Tathagata Killer transformed the East Asian Republic, they don't actually call it China in the movie,
Right.
into the Godam Empire,
Whoa.
whose first order of business was to hang a bunch of McDonald's swastikas all over the place. Then, with their airtight control over the media,
What?
they managed to convince literally everyone in China that they're the good guys with the swastikas hanging behind them, and get the whole country on board with uniting the world by absolute military force. For peace. And Japan,
Yeah.
specifically the port town of Izumo, is the first stop on their world tour. But just as a test of their fancy social media censoring alien stealth submarines, which, I'm sorry, I'm still hung up on those swastikas. It's just a
Why?
super weird
Why?
world building.
Yeah, what?
The Godam Empire's logo could have
Why?
been literally
Anything, yeah.
It's not like they idolize Hitler or echo his ideology, or any ideology for that matter, besides really hating God. They're just generic bad guys trying to take
So
over /
weird.
destroy the world with a discount Death Star for the glory of Catboy Satan. They
Right.
even claim to be conquering for peace, so why would they willingly brandish the one brand that makes it automatically morally acceptable to beat the ever-loving shit out of anyone wearing it
Yeah.
in a video game? I'm just saying, any modern military flying that flag, even one with real good parental controls on the public Wi-Fi, is gonna have soldiers asking,
Are we the bad guys?
Are we the baddies?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'll tell you who's a baddie. Laika Chan, the mysterious benefactor providing the mysterious technology that Godam uses in its weapons. Wait, right, I already spoiled that it's aliens. She's an alien.
Oh,
An alien
of course.
baddie, that is.
Ms. Laika-chan. Well done.
Anyway, after
Okay.
the test of stealth cells,
Cool.
it's only
They're
natural
evil
that
bad guys.
next
I do like his
target
voice,
would
though.
be Taipei, the capital of Taiwan. Sorry, that's Pupei, the capital of non-Taiwan.
Ah.
The Godam Empire has released a statement. Nantai has been a long property of the Godam Empire, thus will not accept any intervention from the international society. Ah! What?
Ah!
Stop! No!
Meet the movie's hero,
Jeez, what's going on?
in a triage
This is mental.
working under Earth Doctors, a clear analog for Doctors Without Borders, which, in this film's universe, is also a front for happy science. Or rather, the secret society Hermes Wings. The leader of both organizations, the General, also happens to be in the camp at this time on a rare trip outside his secure New York
Speedwagon.
headquarters, and when he meets Sho, he's instantly impressed with the Doctor's angelically selfless attitude. Cho is equally impressed by a vision of the general getting shot and dying, but instead of mentioning that to him, he chooses to voice a different prediction.
At this rate, Japan will be occupied in less than 1 week.
What? Really?
No way. That can't be.
Why is he smiling?
It really can't. Japan is just about the single most naturally defensible landmass on Earth, outside arguably the Arctic Circle. Even with stealth subs to sneak into their heavily defended waters, any inland invasion of the mountainous island nation would be quite literally one giant uphill battle. The only way they go down in a week is if they lie down and roll over.
Yeah, and just take it.
Oh, right. I forgot. This is an anime Ben Garrison cartoon.
It's bad.
The U.S. Navy's aircraft carriers.
As many of you know, Japan cannot do anything. As a matter of fact, Article 9 is written so that we cannot protect our people.
What?
You're saying it's time we pay for taking peace for granted?
Article 9, if you're not familiar, is the section of the post-World War II Japanese Constitution that renounces war. Just starting wars, though. It doesn't stop them from defending themselves.
Yeah, like,
Japan
surely they're allowed to defend. They can't have a thing in place that goes, nope, we gotta let them come in.
Most Japanese people actually appreciate how Article 9 keeps them out of American forever wars, but nationalists see it as a mark of shame and really want it gone. The specter of invasion is a handy bogeyman for pushing that agenda. For context, an American equivalent of this oft-echoed mistruth would be saying a Democrat president weakened the army by moving money into social programs or something like that.
We've been drastically slashing our military expenditure for fiscal reconstruction. We no longer are the police of the world.
And there's the thanks, Obama. Okay, technically it's not Obama, it's Tom Buck, and I suppose he could be referencing a different black president, but given the time this was made, yeah, it's Obama. Speaking of when this was made, fun fact, in 2011, when they would have been scripting and storyboarding it, the US had its highest military budget in history. And so did Japan. So these dire political predictions are literally based on nothing. Okay, I've been talking for a while now, and we're only 10 minutes into the movie. Sorry, but
only 10 minutes in? What? What?
With its crazy fear-mongering,
Jeez.
and that just leaves a fucking lot to unpack. I mean, when Godam actually does conquer Japan about 50 minutes in, one of the first super-duper evil things they're shown doing is forcing school children to learn about Nanking.
The Japanese once caused great harm and did many bad things, forcing its neighboring countries to suffer immensely. But now, with the help of our great emperor, they are finally starting to become decent citizens.
For context, they put that in the same montage where the Empire outlaws speaking Japanese and starts executing religious people.
All
What?
religions are prohibited in Godam. Death to offenders and their families.
Please, spare my child.
Take them away.
No, not my daddy!
This
That
is
said,
so over the top.
The purpose of this isn't actually to advance any sort of political agenda. Their real goal is to entice members of Japan's far right, who already agree with that message of the film, into listening to its real message, which is give El Cantare all your devotion and money. So much as I'd love to keep tearing apart this film's flimsy worldview, I wrote 4,700 words worth of notes about it. We should really move on to the main plot. In the next meeting of his evil council, after he fries a guy with his electric whip for being annoying, Dollarama Darth Vader reveals that he's reverse-engineered the technology Laika-chan lent the Empire and is using it to build the ultimate destructive weapon.
My God.
Destructive weapon?
Oh, he actually calls it that.
His Majesty will name the weapon once it's been completed.
What a fantastic excuse to just never name your movie's central
first class.
The weapon in
I'll name it once it's made, damn it.
6 trillion degree
Don't put pressure on me.
Drop it anywhere on Earth, which Laika's none too happy about, warning Tathagata Killer that overusing such a power could compromise the Earth's crust and render it uninhabitable. But the Emperor is confident that he just needs one Alderaan example to make the world fall in line. Godam is facing heavy opposition after all. why Sho and his supervisor Urano have moved from the doctor division of Earth Doctors to its G.I. Joe politician bodyguard program.
Ah.
The Golems are here. They're behind us.
I never expected you to be a member of a secret society like the Hermes Wings.
Sir, I'm sorry I kept it from you.
Deja vu, I just been in this place before. Higher on the street and the noise went to hell.
And Sho's psychic visions are coming in handy for getting them out of trouble. Eventually, the Society's activities attract the Empire's direct ire.
The secret society Hermes Wings is active. With their headquarters in New York, they are publicly known as a religious group. The Earth
So they must die.
and an educational institution.
Wow, what a coincidence! That's also all the things Happy Science is.
But behind
That's
the cover,
crazy.
They protect politicians and advocators who resist us. These goons are trying to spread liberal thoughts against our imperialism.
They are no threat to us. No need to report such minuscule deeds.
Lightning whip!
All obstacles must be terminated. I shall not tolerate an incomplete world.
And I guess they learned their lesson
Okay.
from Hermes Winds of Love, because the big bads actually follow up on that threat.
Our branches are under attack around the world.
My God.
How is that possible? The security system and the surveillance cameras had been enhanced against attacks.
We're not safe here. Guys.
The General's been moving from base to base every 4 hours, trying to stay ahead of Godam's assassins. But as he reaches
Right.
Sho's office, his luck finally runs out, and Chinese Nazi Section 9 catches up with him.
Oh no.
Before they can
They go
stop
invisible.
demo their
That
way
look
up to
cool.
him, however,
That
he
looks
has
dead
time
cool.
to deliver a stirring speech.
We will pursue love and justice.
Of course we will.
I swear it on the
Love, justice, happiness,
And
smiling,
surprise twist,
positive thoughts,
reveal
no
that he's
negativity.
chosen a successor.
The next general is Sho Shishimaru.
Joe's former boss Urano doesn't seem to be taking this too well.
Oh no,
I wonder if that'll
negativity.
come up later.
He's gonna go to
Joe's
hell.
not super confident about doing the job either, but the whole rest of the office seems to believe in him.
That's not true, Sho. You can do it. I agree. You'll do fine.
All of us here support you too.
Oh my God, the
These
voice acting
dubs
is
are a real
awful, but it's blurry
The
earlier.
second the General met Sho, he just knew in his heart that the young doctor would be the one to carry on his mission.
Yes.
And that mission is to find...
The Savior's symbol. A key to saving this world.
Right.
It seems it is in the ancient Incan ruins under Lake Titicaca.
Under what? Under what? Oh my
A
God!
short, shitty shootout with a couple cool shots in it, Sho and Urano managed to get the General to his secret bunker, and, oh hey, it did come up later.
Ah.
What's that for? What do you think?
That was the vision he had.
As for why Urano did it, besides being pissed over getting passed over for promotion, I mean,
Who doesn't like money?
Well,
the villains
Yeah.
in these movies are fun. Before he can finish off Sho, though, the lights go out and the room floods with sleeping gas. Sho awakens in the hotel room of 2 Indian Buddhist monks who
Of
saved him,
course.
and they reveal that while he was asleep, he got another promotion.
We've run you through a very thorough background check. The chief here believes that you, Sho Shishimaru, are the reincarnation of Buddha. You are the world's light of hope.
You are the light of hope for our world.
my God!
The light of hope for the world?
Yeah, that's what he
I
just
want
said.
to be our, no, the world's light of hope.
So just keep
That's not
repeating
our
it.
edit, by
Just
the way.
keep repeating it.
Sometimes this film
Drill it in.
straight up makes fun of itself.
Drill it in.
They know Sho's the Buddha on account of how they dug out a golden urn earlier in the movie containing a prophecy saying that he is. And they know it's legit because scientific analysis has revealed that the urn is both 2,500 years old and from space. The old man hands Sho an introductory Buddhist text started, and he heads off to the Toku
These
to
are
set
so
up a new
stupid.
Hermes Wings office and start meditating under a
So glad I checked this
convenient
out.
Bodhi tree. Soon enough, he's having visions. First a glimpse of some sort of goddess, then a nightmare of Godam invading Japan with kaiju, and a little kid gets shot. Oh, God,
I mean, that's kind of bad.
Mass Effect 3 all over again. Meanwhile, Tathagata Killer is communing with some sort of demon, bragging about how he's a perfect human who don't need no parents or God for that matter.
Yeah.
Because that God guy sure does suck, and he
He
gets so
don't
worked up
need
about
no
how much he
good
needs God
recognition.
that he just starts jizzing force lightning everywhere. As an atheist, I hate it when that happens. Back by the Bodhi tree, Sho's taking a break to enjoy the cherry blossoms
my
when
God.
Konohana no Sakuya, who was that goddess lady from earlier, appears by his side to give a sermon, because there's always a fucking sermon, about how the spirit world
Yes,
works.
there is.
Which is basically just Cliff's Notes Laws of Eternity, though in addition to Nazis, Nietzsche, and a bunch of secular TV personalities Ryuho Okawa clearly has beef with, this time they also blame demons for Charles Darwin and Karl Marx. She concludes the lecture by telling Sho that she's not Sho if he can change the dark future in his visions or not, but he won't know unless he tries.
You've gotta have a go, boy.
Calls a helicopter to head for the scene of the pre-crime. Down in the Fireballinator labs, Laika-chan has her own vision of the ultimate destructive weapon wiping out an entire alien city and heads up to Tathagata Killer's room to beg him not to use it one more time. He picks this moment to shoot his shot, and after getting shot down, throws a Darth Vader tantrum to get his way with her, but her magic bracelet weakens his grip and she manages to escape. As this is happening, as the Japanese government is busy planning their immediate surrender and also saying the quiet part loud,
A colony. That means Japan will cease to exist.
It's better than fighting and getting killed. I'll flee somewhere before that, of course.
as JSDF fighters are blown out of the sky one by one because the cowardly Prime Minister is just too darn committed to Article 9 to do anything with them, Sakuya summons forth Yamata no Orochi to defend Japan in their stead, which appears in the form of snake-like clouds that swallow planes whole, causing them to crash. Godam's got its own ghost kaiju, though, a black dragon of evil energy that repels Orochi's assault. As the two beasts, or clouds depending on your perspective, face off, Sho arrives on the scene, desperate to avert the doom
What the hell?
But his grand plan of running door to door telling people to leave proves insufficient.
No,
and
it's not good enough.
He does save that one kid in the shack, though, so there is hope that the rest of the future can be changed. For now, though, or 5 months after now, Godam's hanging swastikas on Shibuya Station and cruelly teaching kids about their ancestors' Axis war crimes. Wait, Sho may not be able to stop this, but at least he's been keeping up with his meditation all this time.
Thank God for that.
His devotion is rewarded at last when Rient Arl Crowd, the made-up king of Happy Science's made-up pre-Roman ancient Incan empire, and one of the incarnations of the eternal Buddha El Cantare, appears before him and bestows upon him a sacred ritual which involves praying under the tree tomorrow night. Back at HQ, there's even more good news. Hermes Wings has at last unearthed the Savior's symbol from Lake Titicaca, and it's the same crystal staff that was wielded by Rient Arl Crowd in Sho's vision.
Oh my God!
The next night, and a mysterious Jedi-esque figure answers his call.
You performed the sacred ritual to call UFOs. That's why I'm here.
To call UFOs?
I came from Venus. My name is Utica.
Of course he did.
You're not surprised seeing an alien?
No.
Well, I can sense that you really mean no harm to me.
I'm impressed. But even you don't know that the Godam Empire is using the technologies of an extraterrestrial civilization.
Utica goes on to detail the history of Venus, which we already covered.
Yeah, we got that.
We got that.
Video, yeah.
And tells him that he's Rient Arl Crowd. Then he flips on his teleporter and whisks Sho off to Godam to meet Laika-chan. I guess in the end she was just too much of a baddie to stay bad. Or keep her hair color. Okawa likes his wife who's blonde.
To me, you look like you're Scandinavian. Here on Earth, that is.
She force grabs Sho with her magic bracelet and brings him over to her, but he calls down some angels to free him from the golden rings and pick her up for good measure. Then they drop her so he can pick her up, giving Wingman
Go ahead, Frieza.
and they settle in for exposition over tea. Turns out Laika's true identity is Theta, the princess of planet Vega in the Lyra system. Years ago, one of their planetary neighbors also developed the forbidden weapon and also neglected to name it before dropping it on Vega, rendering the surface unlivable. Unwilling to spend the rest of her life as a mole person, Theta prayed to the god of Earth, Arl Crowd, whom she knows because her people hail from Venus, and he granted them a spiritual immigration pass, which 1 million Vegan souls chose to take, despite general worries that Earth is kind of a shitty neighborhood.
Right.
And not only can those souls
enter female bodies.
Nice to be reborn as humans, they can also do ghost ride-alongs with already grown people to learn the ins and outs of life here.
Awesome.
And they choose China
That's cool.
as their port of entry because it's easier to do that possession thing in countries that don't acknowledge spiritual presence and, more importantly, don't have a strict census registry system. That is the most weirdly specific dig at a country I have ever heard.
Yeah, very direct.
Some Vegans also came over in spaceships, and they, like Theta, are able to shapeshift and pass as human. She uses this ability to start a trading company as Laika-chan, selling vegan ore and tech to fund their immigration, which eventually brought her into contact with Tathagata Killer, who, as a brilliant scientist and military man, even before he became the Emperor, immediately pegged her tech as alien in origin. And she ultimately decided to lend her alien weaponry to his upcoming global military coup for 3 reasons. Firstly, his plan to bring about world peace by killing everyone who opposes him with alien superweapons would help her in convincing the holdouts back on Vega that Earth isn't a war-torn hellhole, eventually, maybe. Second, he offered her a bribe.
I will give you Africa for your people to immigrate to.
And third, he had really sad eyes at the time. In the years since, though, those eyes have changed, gotten meaner and sharper. Yes, a tyrannical despot does that to you. And now, with his power over the Vegan immigrants, Theta has no way of opposing him, even as he nears completion of
The ultimate destructive weapon.
The ultimate destructive weapon.
But Show's eyes remind her of none other than Arl Crowd, which gives her hope that something might still be done. And together, the 2 planet saviors hatch a plan to have vegan plants and the Godam army help Show infiltrate and destroy the weapon. First, though, we've got to cut away to a random scene of him meditating under the tree.
Of course we do. There's got to be prayer and flashbacks and philosophical nonsense.
What matters is he has another vision telling him that those rascally reptilians are up to their old legal loophole tricks again.
No.
We will attack the moment the ultimate destructive weapon is used. Intervening when the people living on this planet try to destroy their own civilization does not violate the Galactic Treaty.
Of course, the Galactic Treaty, yes.
Seriously take Earth before our food starts wiping out each other.
For those keeping score at home, that is 3 secret groups of aliens orbiting Earth, all revealed in the space of 20 minutes.
That's crazy.
Also in the same vision, Arl Crowd warns Show that if humankind takes a wrong path, the consciousness of Earth might wipe us all out with natural disasters.
No.
To avert this future and the Fireball one, Show calls on his followers around the world to speak up for God and against Gotham in a big multilingual montage.
Oh my god.
Hermes Wings is active around the world. Report to His Majesty.
Which prompts the President himself to
Lol.
make a statement.
We choose justice. Let all countries unite and protect our freedom.
Thanks, Tom Buck. Though, in the end, that only gives Tathagata Killer the excuse he was looking for to laugh maniacally and launch the weapons, so thanks, Tom Buck.
Well done,
Show
Obama.
dons his stealth camo and busts into the lab to put a stop to that.
Of course he does.
Hooking up with a
Main
squad of
character.
vegan
Go, go, go.
commandos along the way, But right before they reach the weapon, they're ambushed by Godam forces,
Oh
and when
my
a blaster
gosh.
shot slips through their laser shield phalanx and kills one of them, our hero nobly surrenders himself to prevent any more carnage.
Stop! That's enough! I don't want to lose any more friends who are fighting for Earth!
As he's taken into
Nice
custody,
pause
Sho's
in
followers
between.
around the world are all rounded up too, and forced to watch along with the rest
Oh my
of humanity
God.
as the Emperor makes a big televised event out of the execution.
To be executed as a traitor and terrorist.
What?
The cursed leader of the evil secret society, Hermes Wings!
Oh my
That
God, what?
incredibly subtle three-story stainless steel crucifix
Gee.
is ultimately just for show. The actual
Wow.
is done by firing squad, and
Wow.
the Savior dies in a matter of seconds. But then Theta reveals her alien form and rushes to his side, calling down flying saucers to use their healing rays, I guess, on him. It doesn't work, so she tries the thing that always works,
Kissing him.
prayer, and after
Oh.
a quick trip to
Of course,
dimension,
prayer.
so Buddha can tell that he's God, Sho's back on his feet and ready for one final big dumb anime fight.
Let's
And
go.
since all the soldiers are too awed by his Jesus act to pull the trigger anymore, that ends up coming down to horrible CGI skeletons versus even
Whoa.
more horrible CGI angels.
Whoa.
The horrible CGI kaiju also pop in to duke it out overhead, and with the
Oh my
forces of good winning
gosh.
on all of these fronts, the demon panics, possesses Tathagata Killer, and force pulls Theta over to force her to activate the ultimate destructive weapon using a horrible CGI nuke suitcase. The distraction of a streaker running onto the field gives Tathagata just enough pause to remember Laika's kindness, and he hilariously electrocutes himself to stop the demon. But then it just turns into a smoke monster and does the same thing anyway, making that a complete waste of a scene.
Wow.
Then things get even worse.
Okay.
We were all waiting for this moment to take over Earth. Oh, crap! Earth's conscience is going to clean out the world.
Sho has a plan, though.
What's going on?
If everyone
This
on
is
Earth
crazy.
just prays to him, he and only he can stop these natural disasters before they kill us all. Which I can't help but noticing is the exact same ultimatum the fake Buddha bad guy from the last
movie, yeah.
used at the end of Act 2 to show us how evil and manipulative he
Yeah.
is. But dude, trust me, this time's legit. With the Savior's symbol in hand, handily handed off to him by that streaker from earlier before the cops shot him in the back, he's able to summon up a spirit bomb from the light of every human
Yeah,
soul.
very Dragon Ball. Love it.
And stop the disasters. Though not before an earthquake conveniently knocks the weapon that shall not be named out of alignment and stops it from firing. And as he's capping off that sermon by rambling about how Earth is the planet of love, Utica heads up to tell the reptilians where they can shove it.
The crisis has left. Abide by the Galactic Treaty.
You are the ones who intervened first. You violated the Galactic Treaty.
Let me remind you, intervention is permitted only when those living on this planet try to destroy their own civilization. Am I correct?
Fine, we'll leave.
Back on Earth,
Damn.
Tathagata Killer's mask finally falls off to reveal his true identity. He was born as a secret experimental clone soldier created by the Chinese army, which he thinks makes him an object. But Sho tells him that in spite of that, he is still God's child. Then he dies, happy tears in his eyes.
Oh.
Sometime later, Sho and Theta are
What?
dating, apparently.
My brain.
But she's
My
gotta go
brain.
back to get the rest of her people on Veda, so after one last heavy makeout sesh, they have to say a tragic goodbye, vowing to meet again in another life, on another planet, and make it work. And the film ends with Ryuho Okawa's OC living his best single life as a super popular, rich, and successful international savior figure. An ending I'm sure has nothing to do with the messy divorce the real Okawa went through while this movie was being made. And with that, we are finally done with these movies. Not all of them. There's still a
There's still more, isn't there?
Trilogy left to roast. But I've got to wait until the third one of those, which was written by Ryuho Okawa's daughter, is out on Blu-ray to give all of them their proper due. Also, if I'm being honest, I'm a bit tired at this point. I know how fun this has been for you, but out of all
that
these
was
movies,
such a
The
good
Mystical
video.
Laws is kind of the only one that actually makes for a remotely enjoyable hate watch on its own, thanks to its increased action and Tom Buck wild.
From the animators of Naruto, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Neon Genesis Evangelion. Jesus!
The Mystical Laws, so I am also looking forward to those in a weird sense. For now, though, since you've stuck this out with me for over an hour at this point, I'd like to at least try to leave you with one hopefully helpful takeaway. We've had our laughs at all the obviously ridiculous shit in these movies.
Yes, they are
but we can only
so
do that because they're not
over
really
the top.
made for us as an audience.
Yeah, that's true.
The goal of this propaganda, outside the last movie's pandering to the far right, isn't to recruit new followers. It's to build an immersive media ecosystem that reinforces for existing believers, kids especially, the idea that happy science's ideas are normal and pop culturally acceptable. They're also obviously products meant to be sold to those existing works. Same reason half of Okawa's lectures get transcribed into books.
Books and
Moving
then sold.
massive
Yeah.
quantities of merch is just how this church
All money.
extracts
All
an average
money.
$1,500 a year from its members.
Who doesn't like money?
And while
Yes.
you and I are by and large immune to this specific strain of propaganda, except for those we lost as converts to the Catboy Satan thing.
No.
That was a big oversight on my part. That is by no means true of most media like these movies. All films, shows, ads, games, and anime are built on certain assumptions about how the world works, and intentionally or not, serve to reinforce those assumptions and whatever status quo they might support whenever we watch them. Also, almost always intentionally, almost all media is trying to sell you something with those ideas, some of which might be ludicrous or even demonstrably harmful, yet if they are, that's just as invisible to any of us who already buy in as the sheer lunacy of
I'm Helen Keller.
is to
Crazy.
its target audience.
It's so
Nobody is immune
to propaganda. Yeah.
But by learning how to unpack what art is saying and how and why it's saying it, we can inoculate ourselves to a degree against the worst of it. That's part of why I do what I do. I mean, mostly it's a way to get away with watching cartoons and playing video games for a living, and also for this specific series, I just happen to think this cult is hilarious. But media literacy
It's very
is
funny.
important too.
It is funny.
I think one of the best ways to build it is to see how bad media conveys bad ideas badly. Because when you understand what films like these are doing wrong, you also come to understand implicitly what better constructed media and propaganda does right. More importantly, though, when you watch crazy movies like this, you get to discover and share comic gold like this with your friends.
The keys are the US, Russia, and India. We're dead goose if they decide to nuke us all simultaneously. Miss Laika-chan, isn't there a miraculous super weapon? Something that will wipe out an entire nation?
No, there isn't.
What a shame. Your amazing secret technology is useless when we need it most. Your Majesty!
Wow, take that.
If you appreciate the effort it takes to bring you such delights, then I'd appreciate you letting me know via a comment, or if you're really feeling it, a like, share, and or subscribe. For more hilarious anime insights in a much more digestible format, check out Yazzy's new video on Mieruko, and everything else on Best Girl's Basement. She is one of my favorite YouTubers. And if you want to see more lengthy roasts like this one, I got a whole playlist of them for you. I'm Jeff Thu, professional future, self-help guru, signing out from definitely not a compound.
That was awesome. My God. Gonna be fun syncing all the audio to that. Every 10 minutes I've got to redo. But yeah, over the top, absolutely hilarious. So glad I checked it out. That's boss. And I hope he does do a part 3, because he's saying he wants to do part 3. But yeah, thanks to my patrons. If you want to have your name at the end of every video upload, links in the description to the Patreon page. $1 a month, so there. So support the channel. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you guys for that. And thank you all for watching. What did you guys think of that? What did you guys think of this? Click like, subscribe if you haven't already. Leave comments down below. Let me know what I should watch us in future videos. And I'll see you guys next time.